there, friends. I didn't think I'd be doing another song from Mufasa, but people did request I do this one, Tell Me It's You, and then also Bye Bye, which I know is the villain song. Full disclosure, I still have not seen the film, to be totally honest. I know I will at some point, but it's really just going to be as a check mark off a list. I don't have any real great desire, even though I did really like the Brothers song. I thought it was very cute. I still, honestly, everything I've heard about the film is just like, there's a chance I may like it. I don't blanket say that I hate all of the Disney live action remakes. I've seen, I don't know, probably about half of them at this point, maybe a little more than half. And I, granted, don't like most of them, but there are a couple I enjoy. But it's just everything I've seen from this movie doesn't make me super into it. But I will see it eventually because I plan on doing a full ranking of all the Disney films, and I'm going to either do a separate ranking for the live action ones or maybe just put them all together. I haven't decided yet. So it'll happen eventually. But for now, I'm doing this. Now, I did go and read a little bit about the plot only because I thought it was fair. Like going into the first one, I was just like, yeah, why not? I'll just pop in and just see this cute song. But for this, I wanted to kind of know what I was getting into. So spoilers if you have not seen the film and don't want to know any context for it. But I do know at the very least that this is at a point where it's Mufasa and Sarabi. Sarabi! There was a time when, before my sister got her cat that sadly recently passed away, she wanted to get a cat and name it Sarabi so she could say that to it. So like that came with a name, but it was Penny, and my sister loves the movie Almost Famous and also the Beatles, so it was Penny Lane. But she always wanted a cat. She'll probably eventually get a cat named Sarabi just to be able to say that to it. Yeah, so this is Mufasa and Sarabi. I don't know all the details. I know that something happens in the film where like Sarabi almost dies and Mufasa saves her, but then like tells Sarabi that it was Taka Scar who saved her, because I guess Taka has a big crush on Sarabi. So we've got a love triangle, the most interesting of plots. I just get so sick of that, man. If you're gonna do something interesting with it, maybe, and who knows, maybe the film does, but what I didn't think the plot of you know, Lion King needed was a love triangle, especially when you have Scar, who, you know, whether you like it or not, is a queer-coded villain, which Disney did a lot, especially during that time period. We've got, you know, Scar, we had Ursula, we had Ratcliffe from Pocahontas, extremely queer-coded. And yeah, usually it's played for laughs. It is what it is. People love doing it. But not that they needed to like make Scar queer. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's just a thing worth mentioning that he was, I would say, pretty queer-coded in the original film. But in this, we've got a love triangle. So then, like, okay, is that why Scar doesn't like his brother? Just because of a lady? That always annoys me. Anyway, let's watch the song. It is still Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I still love very much. And you know, I know he did. I think I mentioned before, I know he did this instead of Moana 2. I mean, who knows? I don't think he was like given a choice of either one and chose this one, but he was basically unable to do Moana 2, I think, because he was doing this, because originally Moana 2 was supposed to be a television show and then suddenly was a sequel. So I don't know if I should check any songs out from that. I know it's done by the people who did the Bridgerton musical. I know that mostly because of the controversy. I literally have never heard the musical, nor have I seen Bridgerton. But let me know if that's like any songs I should check out from that. I have not seen Moana 2 yet, another film that I will at some point watch. But yeah, let me know if you want me to react to any of those, or any songs from any, either Broadway stuff or Disney stuff. God knows if you just want me to examine stuff from Disney, as a huge Disney nerd and also ex-Disney cast member who just knows a lot about Disney, because it was my job, because I worked specifically at the store where I sold a lot of paintings and statues and had to know a lot of trivia about all the Disney films and Disney parks. I have a lot to say. Anyway, let's go.
Tell me it's you.
Already pause. That's interesting. Just the setting of snow. Didn't expect snow. So obviously this is if we're doing a one-to-one, as we're kind of, I think, begged to, really, because the last one was very much that I just can't wait to be king. This is our Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which is a hard one to go up against. Should they be looked at separately? Of course they should, but it's hard not to compare. It's going to happen naturally. We can do our best to separate them, but don't beat yourself up if you compare them. It's just kind of what's going to happen in your brain. Flute.
Ever since you appeared.
I used to be a flute player. I get really excited when I hear flute. Her flute is highlighted. I'm like, yeah. Sorry.
Ever since you appeared, I've been running from something deep inside, and it's worse than I feared. 'Cause I look in your eyes and I can't hide. I push them away.
Don't push me away.
But the feelings come back just twice as strong. I don't know what to say.
Know just what to say.
But I know that I'm right where I belong.
The way you know just where to be.
I don't know.
The way you move, the way you see.
You see me.
The way you feel when you're with me. Beside me, don't hide from me anymore. Tell me it's you, I know it's you.
What do I say? Where do I go? How do I know you feel the same?
Okay. We're like, sorry, there's my notebook in the background. Okay. Feelings. This is feeling very, like, 90s adult contemporary in a way. Still feels musical, but feels almost like the rendition of the Disney love song that will be played over the end credits. You know, when they always did like the contemporary version over the end credits, it kind of sounds more like that. I did look to see if I knew either of these actors from anything. I don't know the woman voicing Sarabi from anything. I do unfortunately know the person voicing Mufasa from the M. Night Shyamalan movie where he played rapper mid-sized sedan, but I won't hold that against him. They both sound really wonderful here. And the song itself is nice. Again, I just feel like I'm beating a dead horse if I talk about the animation, but it's really hard not to when I'm watching this as like I want something to hold on to. I want something to connect to, especially in this when it's a love song. And it's hard to connect to something when you can't see emotion in their eyes because they're kitty cat eyes. And I've seen love in kitty cat eyes. I love kitty cat eyes, but like, okay. The way that the 2D animation goes in the original, you've got Sarabi. Nala at one point, everyone jokes she gives bedroom eyes. When she's like on her back and she kind of like slow blinks up at Mufasa, giving like, if I keep saying Mufasa now because I'm watching this, Simba giving bedroom eyes. That's like a funny thing. It is true in the film, but you're able to point that out because you can see emotion in their eyes. In the same way that, like, you know, I've met people who, you know, they'll say like, oh, the first animated, like your animated crush. If people say Simba, I don't think they're attracted to a lion. I think that they just, you know, everything about Simba was cute. Because it transcends being like a lion. It's not the literal, like they just look like lions. It was a character. They cartooned it enough that it gives it a lot of personality. I can't get a lot from these. I guess it's admirable that they wanted to make it so real, but then not that I can't feel anything for an animal, but it's just a different thing. It feels weird watching them sing. The only thing I can think about is like, you know, like in Babe or something, which I love Babe. Don't get me wrong. I love the movie Babe. But when they've got that weird, it doesn't matter how good the CGI is, when you're just watching like what looks like a realistic animal, very well done, going like, while they're saying, it's weird. It just makes a lion into a puppet. It's kind of freaky. And whereas it was a little bit easier to overlook, I think, with the brother song because everything about it was high energy and it really did feel like, oh, if you just straight up 2D animate this, it could belong in the original. It felt very much like, oh, sorry, it's just thunder. I'm like, what's happening? I'm still getting used to living in the Pacific Northwest. I'm getting used to random thunder at odd intervals. But what was I saying? Oh, you wouldn't have had to change much in the brother song for it to kind of work. Whereas this, a little bit harder. There's not much going on, especially with, because it's all realistic. it all looks kind of flat, which is hilarious because you think it'd be the way around. There's beautiful, and it's still like, it looks very pretty, but color-wise, there's just like, it's not very engaging. The song is nice so far, you know.
The way you know just where to be.
I don't know.
Got a bounce to
The
it.
way you see.
You see me.
The way you feel when you're with me. Beside me. Don't hide from me anymore. Tell me it's you. I know it's you.
What do I say? Where do I go? How do I know you feel the same?
Oh, I forgot to actually comment on the song. As far as the lyrics go. I also like that Lin never tries to, he's not like trying to give you Can You Feel the Love Tonight. It's got its own vibe, it's got its own theme and like message to it. It's not the same kind of story with Sarabi saying tell me it's you. Both of them saying tell me it's you, I think, in the chorus part there. I imagine I know this took place after the whole like Mufasa telling Sarabi that Scar saved her. I don't know if that's her going like, I know it's you that saved me. So that's one layer to it. And then tell me it's you is like, tell me you're the one or whatever. Is clever and works.
I know it's you.
What do I say? Where do I go? How do I know you feel the same?
Tell me it's you. I know it's you.
Quiet and low, letting it go, letting you know it's in me. Everywhere that I roam, I remind myself not to overstay. Every time I find home, something happens to take that home away. But you see what I've seen.
I see you.
As you lead with the strength that shines right through. You move like a queen, a true queen. Don't let anything take
me away from you. Tell me it's
I do like the I believe I read in the synopsis that like Taka and Mufasa's pride got destroyed and so something happens. But then they find Sarabi and she also was out of pride. So the whole idea of like both of them, every time I find a home, it gets taken from me. They're talking about like their literal pride and like their where they live, but also it could be like each other is home. It's a well-written song. I wonder sometimes with some of these if they'd maybe been directed by different people. Because I could go on like a whole rant about who directs these movies. Even when it's someone who's like, even when you get someone like Jon Favreau, who did the original one of this, I believe, and also did the original Lion King one, and I think did Jungle Book. And like, he's pretty well versed in that kind of, directing that kind of movie. Obviously, like he's kind of like a Peter Jackson, in that like at the beginning of his career was like Swingers and Made, which were very like small, funny, weird movies. And like the early Peter Jackson movies were like these insane, weird, small budget, crazy like splatter horror films. And then he went on to do like really big budget stuff. That I guess like someone like Jon Favreau makes sense. Someone like Zemeckis doing Pinocchio, while it didn't turn out well, made sense. And again, that's funny. Like even the ones where it's like a director that makes sense still doesn't work. Tim Burton doing Alice in Wonderland makes sense. Doing Dumbo, that's odd. But I haven't seen Dumbo, so I don't know. But then there's ones where it's just like, who should we get to do Aladdin? How about Guy Ritchie? Like, what? You know, when I sat there, when I watched Aladdin, I'm like, we should do a live action version. You know who should do this? The guy who made Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I love Barry Jenkins. I think he's a great director. But when I think who's going to make the next Disney live action remake, which is going to be all CGI characters, so live action in big quotes, it should be the guy who made Moonlight. And if Beale Street Could Talk, like, why? It just doesn't make sense. And I don't know, like, I'm not a director, very obviously. I don't know how much of a difference it is between that and directing something like this. But there's got to be some major differences when, like, suddenly you're not working with people. You're working with CGI creatures. It just seems strange. Now, there's some that work. I feel like Cinderella, which I think is probably the best of the Disney animated remakes. Granted, I don't have a ton of I don't dislike original Cinderella. I don't have a ton of affection for it. But like Kenneth Branagh doing that totally makes sense. I mean, Kenneth Branagh I feel like he used to obviously be synonymous with like Shakespeare films until he made one that kind of put him on director timeout for a while. But he's also known for, he's the guy you go to for great adaptations. He did Frankenstein, he did a bunch of Shakespeare, he did some Agatha Christie. Like that makes sense. So him doing Cinderella, it works. But I just like, I don't know, all I'm trying to say here is that, like, I'm trying to figure out why this isn't working for me, and I think I'm just kind of tossing out a bunch of possibilities about why it doesn't work. Because I'm trying not to just say the same statement of, like, it should have been 2D, but, like, yeah. Or at the very least, if not 2D, then just animated 3D, you know, like, as bad as the Pinocchio, hilariously bad, as the Pinocchio, live-action remake was, he looked like Pinocchio. Do it like that, I guess. But then it all comes back to the idea of why. Why do them? This is at least a different story. I'm not super against those ridiculous, like, direct-to-DVD sequels of Disney films that would happen, where a lot of times you're like, why is this happening? But there were some fun ones in there. I like the Aladdin ones. I actually don't hate Return to Neverland, which I know some people really, really do. I like Little Mermaid 2 had some moments. Trying to think of any other ones. I've heard Cinderella 3 is great. I haven't seen it. I've seen the second one. It's one of the worst Disney films I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, you know, there's some decent ones sprinkled in there. I don't hate it. It's fine. But this, I just don't. You know what was actually not bad also? Pocahontas 2. Was surprised by that. Also good songs. Really surprised by that. Really, really surprised. That was, granted, it was after I had just watched, like, Cinderella 2 and Tarzan and Jane. So, like, my expectations were so low that you could have showed me, you could have just, like, dangled keys in front of my face. I'm like, this is a great movie. Still, I think it's good. I should watch it outside of that context. I mean, the reflections and the ice, that's nice.
Don't let anything take me away from you. Tell me it's you, I know it's you.
Say it again, tell me I'll always be with you.
Tell me it's you, I know it's you.
Say it again, tell me you're always with me.
I know just where to be.
Now I
know
know.
the way you see.
I see you.
Love I feel when you're with me.
Beside me. Say it again, tell me the world won't interfere.
Say it again, tell me the words I wanna hear. Say it again, open your eyes and here we go.
See how weird that looked? They're just like pointing forward, pointing away from each other as they say that last note. And just like lions singing, or it looks like the lions are like roaring. It looks weird. There's no, like, they're looking at each other kind of, but there's no connection between the two. The song is nice.
And here we go. I know it's you. I know it's you.
And who knows, maybe am I being an asshole not watching it in context? Like, if I watched the movie, if I just shut my stupid mouth and watched the movie at once, I would have been, like, crying at that point. I don't know. I'm just saying, hey, I somehow became a reaction person, so I'm just saying my reactions to it. Now, I was asked to do Bye Bye as well. If people see this and do not like this and don't want me to do Bye Bye, that's fine. I know that one's done by Mads Mikkelsen, which that's fascinating. I don't think I've ever heard him sing. So I'm kind of curious. What that sounds like. But anyway, those are my feelings on that. It was a pretty song. I'll say it's pretty, but seems forgettable. Whereas I really do like that brother song. It's very cute. I think that the high energy fun kid song is probably a lot easier to do than the love song. Because there's been like a bazillion love songs. It's kind of hard to make one that stands out. So, like, you know, me personally, like, the love song of a movie is almost never my favorite. Same with a musical. It's rarely my favorite. That was our All I Ask of You, with, like, Taka being the Phantom sneaking around. Anyway, there we go. Those are my feelings about it. Thanks for joining me. I will post this and hopefully it'll go up soon-ish. I know that last time around, the video got blocked until I had to like fight against it. But it went up pretty quickly after I kind of pointed out like, hey, I'm super reacting and talking over it a lot. So we'll see how quick this goes up. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, everybody.